Hey all, welcome to the next episode of the Dave DY Show. Dave DY Show. Nutrition, health, welfare. You know I've always spoken a couple of, every once in a while. Got multiple episodes on that. This next episode jumps right into something near and dear to me. From Louis Marco, Metamorphoses on a daily basis, baby, if you please. Right? Louis Marco, I love that dude. You got Luimarco, if you like weightlifting or bodybuilding. So this one is about intermittent fasting. The reason I bring it up, I've utilized this tool before. And that's exactly what it is. It's a tool. There's interval fasting, there's diets, there is lifestyle and eating habit modifications and work that you can perform. There is changes that you can make, meaning, you can adjust your caloric intake, you can adjust the type of food that you eat. You can become a vegan. There are hundreds of different trends that are out there. Paleo, keto, caveman, vegan. Back at it. So as I was stating, you have multiple trends, multiple styles of eating, multiple diets. These things have tied explicitly to the US-based culture, because we have the ways and means where what and how and when and why we eat has become critical to our lifestyle, our longevity, our health, our activities, right? You have what is perceived as an older generation. We have the ability to extend our living in some degree, right? The analytical trends show differently. But with all that in mind, you can state, okay, well, can I live an older active life? Can I have surgical procedures that allow my knees, my hips, my shoulders, my elbows? Do I have protein-rich, plasma-rich protein injections? Can I take medications? Can I take hormone, testosterone replacement therapy? Can I go to a wellness center where they address all of this in a package, right? So that your health, your longevity, your quality of living is tied to how you eat, what you eat, when you eat, the type of activities you perform, the lifestyle that you live with your exercise, right? And the stress levels, how you manage all those components. Well, intermittent fasting or interval fasting or any fasting has been a portion or a component of human life for eons. If you look at religion, if you look at the Jewish religion, the Muslim religion, the Catholic religion, there are periods of fasting that it's tied with your ability to cleanse, cathartically cleanse your soul, cleanse your mind, to prepare you for the starvation or the ability to then accept all of your errors, all of the wrongdoings that you've performed, to as an act of confession, to show that you have accepted those wrongdoings, those evils, those failures, and that you're willing to change. And it ties to, ultimately, the availability of food in our lifestyle. So, do you have a refrigerator? Do you have a stockpile, a closet, or a pantry, or a cabinet full of available, prepared, quickly accessible, non-spoiling foods that you can eat immediately, quickly prepare, take a long period of time and make some type of ceremony, and feed the necessity, one of the primary necessities as humans, food, water, right? So fasting's a piece of that. So intermittent fasting is also a piece of that. Ultimately, when we eat, when you ingest something, it goes into your gut. Your gut being your stomach, through your esophagus, into your stomach, into your large and your small intestines. and it gets broken down by enzymes. Those enzymes take whatever we ingested, the solid, the liquid, into our bloodstream. The materials of that are broken down with enzymes into our bloodstream. They float around in your blood. If it's a carbohydrate or a simple sugar, that's used within our bodies to be converted on a cellular level. It's ingested into the cell, it's taken into the cell and converted to energy. That allows us to perform, to work out, to walk, to lift weights, to give us the energy to act as mechanical living beings, right? To produce the daily works that we do. The body does this by taking those simple sugars, those carbohydrates, and insulin is produced in your pancreas. It combines with those, and then there's an uptake process that the insulin uses those sugars and puts that byproduct into a fat cell. It's stored. Or if you're active, if you're playing volleyball, if you're walking, if you're running, if you're doing some type of activity where you're burning energy, it will convert that right in the cellular level from your bloodstream, right? And if it's not needed, meaning you don't need power output, you're laying prone, you're inactive, which doesn't mean that you're not using power. Your brain, your organs use power, but you've got enough of a level, your body will store that in a fat cell. It'll store that carbohydrate, that simple sugar, through the insulin uptake into that cell, and your body becomes fat. You get larger, meaning that in the future, when we expect your energy output to be needed, we'll convert that fat from that cell into your body. It will release that fat and you'll burn it for energy. That's the simple process. But when you don't have that energy output, but you're continually feeding your body, you have fat people. They store more fat than is needed, and the body's never burning that. And then the pancreas has problems. The ability for your body to create insulin so that it then performs that uptake starts to fail, and you become pre-diabetic and diabetic, and it'll kill you. That's the simple process. Intermittent fasting interrupts that. Intermittent fasting allows us to regulate the insulin levels low for a period of time so that the body doesn't have free in the bloodstream carbohydrate and sugar that it's using insulin to burn, right? Or to store into a cell. So your insulin level drops extremely low. And if it does it for a period of time, your body will burn your fat cells. When you do this, there's a bunch of triggers that occur. Human growth hormone is released. That's a trigger in your body, HGH. It allows for muscle building. It allows for muscle repair. It gives enhancement for lean mass, meaning it'll burn the fat that's in the cells. It won't store the fat that's in the cells. You have insulin regulation. Insulin levels produced by your pancreas are low. They stay low because they don't need to store the high sugar floating around in your bloodstream into fat cells, right? Another byproduct. There's a special process called autophagy, something like that. And it's where you have cellular repair. When your insulin levels are low, you have high growth hormone in your body, you're burning fat, the cells ingest the old protein within them, and they actually eat the dying or broken cells. They consume them and produce healthy cells. That only happens when this process is going on, not when you have saturated sugars in your bloodstream and then huge insulin production to store into fat cells, and we grow obese, right? Because we're not burning that fat. And then you've got gene expression, where it actually has gene repair. It produces new cells with DNA that are repaired so that it fixes the problems that you've gotten from environmental issues, pollution, from radioactive issues where it breaks your genes, from the ingesting of byproducts from the foods that we eat, all the pesticides, anything that causes your body to be hurt. Those things occur in intermittent fasting. I do it. I go from noon to 7 or 8 o'clock, and the fast period should be upwards of 12 to 14 to 16 hours. We go to bed at night and you sleep for 8 hours. Why don't you extend on the front end of that, meaning when you get up, or on the back end of that before you go to bed, an additional 4 hours or 8 hours? so that it turns to 12 or 16 hours of fasting. And then you eat within that period from noon until 7 or noon until 8 or noon until 10, or you have a brunch from 10 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, whatever the case. But giving your body a period where it does not have food in it and it's utilizing these processes, it's been shown to lower blood pressure. It lowers your insulin level. That lowers the ability of your body to have inflammation. That increases your human growth hormone level. It increases your muscle mass. It increases your lean body mass. It consumes the fat in the cells. It allows for the cell healing, the autophagy, where it actually eats the legacy proteins that are just floating around within the cell. It generates new chromosomal cells. It generates new healthier cells that have correct chromosome types, where your double helix is healthy, doesn't have breaks in the genes. Everything's been scientifically shown. Nobody believed it. For our entire life, we never had the availability until this century of food stores, refrigeration. You had to eat fresh products. Now we're making meat. So all that shit's gonna go to the wayside. So you have to focus on this, because that's what we are as animals. You'll be healthier. You'll feel better. You should give it a try. I did it months ago. I've done this probably in the last 2 or 3 years. I got down to 215 pounds. You feel better. Even if you don't lose weight, weight loss may not occur. You'll still have lower insulin levels. Your inflammation in your body decreases. Your blood pressure decreases. Your irritability, your sleep improves. Your irritability decreases. Everything changes with this thing, intermittent fasting, managing when you eat. And it doesn't even tie to caloric deficiency. You can still eat relatively the same amount of food within that 8-hour period, and you'll still see these improvements. Your body's healthier. They're starting to prove this in Harvard and other studies. Since 2010, they've had a number of books, a number of experts come out and share this. I implore you, give this a try. If you're not feeling well, if you're going up in years and aging, if you want to have performance improvements and you're athletic or you're active, give this a try. If you're not already, I suspect you are if you're any of those. If you're pregnant, if you're diabetic, if you're breastfeeding, if you've got pre-existing conditions or disease, do not do this. Go to your doctor, do whatever you got to do. Changes in eating habits can be destructive. They can hurt you. But if you're relatively healthy and you want a better quality of life, this thing is becoming a pretty popular and pretty scientifically documented tool to help. So I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to share with you folks. Comment, like, subscribe, shoot me a note. I hope you enjoyed this one. Dave DY Show out.